Okay, I think I figured out how to do this without breaking anybody's existing Grasshopper definitions and kind of have it in a way that it makes the most sense, I think. So with the next build, if you throw in a Grasshopper the scripting component, when you right-click on any of the parameters, it'll show you the variable, right? So I can set this to image data, let's say, right? That's going to be the variable name. If I want to, that works on all the input and output parameters, right? The exact same way. There is an optional name override for humans that is going to be used when the parameter is getting exported. So I can change this into image data and put some more description and stuff like that in here. It's not going to affect the state, sort of like the display of this parameter on the script component, because I'm assuming that this is sort of like what it's always been like this, and it kind of makes the most sense. But the tooltip will show the full name plus the variable name shown in there. Now, I do have an example of this setup in here. So when you actually connect a slider or something like that to that input, it does pick up the name of that variable that is set on the override, right? Same thing with this one. This one doesn't have a name override, so it just picks up the variable name. If I go here and say custom, then it would pick up the name of the variable, which is the typical thing for a slider to do. So it just behaves the way it's supposed to, I think. And you can always clear this override and just set it back to whatever that is. Now, if you go inside the scripts and sort of like set your variables, inputs and output parameters inside the script, it works exactly as it used to be. So name is the pretty name or the human name of the variable as it was before. Nickname is still the actual variable name for the language, and sort of like it goes about it that way. So if I run this, it'll set the input and outputs. If I right click on it, you see that the name override and the variable override are set correctly. I think that sort of like makes the most sense. So that from now on, when you create a parameter, when you create a component, you don't really have to say that's optional. That name is override is optional. Where it helps is really here. When this script component is being built by the script editor as a plugin for Rhino, then you would see, let me open that test file that I have. Then you would see something like this. That used to be a script component that's converted into an actual Grasshopper component like this. This parameter, the last one, that says display message, it used to have a different name, and the pretty name was sort of like display message was the override for it. And it makes it behave correctly when you go to display and say full name versus sort of like short names. So he actually understands that that was the full name of the parameter and all that kind of stuff. The execution doesn't matter. The script that's running inside of it, it's still using that variable name value. But this makes the sort of like the other component and stuff like that pick up the name for that variable. Let me know if this makes sense. I'm going to merge this into the source, and it should be available in the next week's beta build. Thank you.